Urgent, Luka Doncic makes an unexpected decision. This will surprise you. Stay until the end to find out everything. But before starting the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important news from the Lakers. Months after the blockbuster trade that shook the NBA landscape, Luka Doncic finds himself in unfamiliar territory: Los Angeles. The city where lights never dim and expectations never fade is now home to the Slovenian star, and he's embracing the moment not just as a professional shift, but as a personal reinvention. Once the face of the Dallas Mavericks, Doncic is now focused on rewriting his legacy, starting from the inside out. This is more than just a change of scenery. According to sources cited in the Dumb Zone podcast hosted by Jason Gallagher, Doncic is undergoing a comprehensive transformation. I've heard from people close to Luka that he's hitting the reset button. He's re-evaluating everything about himself, said Gallagher. These aren't empty words. The change is reportedly rooted in physical preparation, renewed accountability, and a deeper psychological maturity, traits essential to becoming the leader a franchise like the Lakers demands. Though the Mavericks' decision to move on from Doncic stunned many around the league, the reasons soon became evident. Despite his elite offensive numbers and star appeal, internal voices in Dallas had long expressed concern over his fitness level and commitment to defense. In many ways, those same concerns followed him to Los Angeles, where expectations are arguably even higher. But Doncic is treating this opportunity as a turning point. In LA, he's not just playing basketball, he's reshaping his identity as a professional athlete. That includes long hours in the weight room, new nutritional habits, and a commitment to mental focus and emotional growth. What's emerging isn't just a better conditioned player. It's someone stepping into the role of a true team cornerstone. Key to this evolution is the presence of LeBron James, the living embodiment of longevity and excellence in the modern NBA. As a mentor, LeBron offers more than advice, he sets the standard. Doncic, recognizing the opportunity to learn from one of the all-time greats, has begun adopting the kind of disciplined routines that define champions. The message is clear: talent may get you noticed, but consistency and effort earn you respect. At the helm of the Lakers is head coach Redick, who is embracing his first major coaching role with a clear vision. Known for his sharp basketball IQ and modern approach, Redick is working closely with Luka to develop an offensive system that maximizes his skill set while demanding full engagement on both ends of the floor. "We want him to thrive, but we also want him to evolve," a source close to the team revealed. Meanwhile, Lakers GM Rob Pelinka is actively evaluating roster adjustments, particularly in the frontcourt. The team is seeking a rim-protecting big man who complements Doncic's playmaking style while shoring up the team's interior defense. This isn't just about surrounding Luka with talent, it's about building a roster tailored to amplify his strengths and cover past weaknesses. What's most striking about this new phase, however, is Doncic's mindset. For the first time in his career, it seems he's fully grasping that raw ability alone isn't enough. He's owning his role, demanding more from himself, and acknowledging the responsibilities that come with being the centerpiece of a storied franchise. The stakes are high, but so is the potential. With LeBron guiding him and the Lakers organization investing in his development, Doncic is positioned to take the next step, not just as a scorer or passer, but as a complete player and a leader. The transformation won't happen overnight, but the foundation is being laid now. As the season draws near, all eyes are on the number 77 in purple and gold. But this isn't the same Luka Doncic fans remember from Dallas. This is a new chapter, one that begins with humility, hunger, and the determination to become something more. Settling into Los Angeles was never going to be just a matter of unpacking boxes or learning a new playbook. For Luka Doncic, it meant confronting patterns that had lingered for years, habits that once felt harmless when masked by highlight reels and MVP chants, but which gradually began to undermine his trajectory. Now in the heart of Lakers culture, with the shadows of legends looming in every corner of the arena, Luka knew that the version of himself that thrived in Dallas wasn't going to be enough. When the Lakers front office took the leap to acquire Doncic, they weren't just chasing star power, they were betting on transformation. They understood the upside. But they also saw what the rest of the league had begun whispering more openly. Luka, for all his brilliance, had areas in dire need of attention. His conditioning had long been questioned, his effort on the defensive end often inconsistent, and his leadership, though instinctual at times, was still developing. In Dallas, those flaws were tolerated, even forgiven because of what he brought offensively. But LA is different. The Lakers are a franchise where greatness is expected, not hoped for. In this environment, excuses dissolve quickly. Doncic took that message to heart. Within weeks of his arrival in Los Angeles, Luka made significant changes to his off-court regimen. He hired a new team of personal trainers, brought on a nutritionist who had worked with Olympic athletes, and began working with a performance psychologist to build not just physical stamina but mental endurance. Early reports from Lakers training sessions describe a player who no longer treats conditioning as a necessary evil, but as a foundation for greatness. "He's not just doing the drills anymore," said a Lakers assistant coach. "He's owning the process. He's asking questions, staying late, showing up early." That's a huge shift. This renewed focus is visible in his body language too. Gone are the moments of visible frustration when plays break down. Instead, teammates are noticing a calmer, more communicative Luka. Someone who is embracing the grind, not avoiding it. One of the most symbolic moments of this transition came during a close scrimmage in September. After turning the ball over on a misread pass, Luka sprinted back on defense, something that had rarely been part of his instinctual game in previous years. The sideline erupted. Not because it was flashy, but because it represented something far more important. Effort. "Those are the plays that win games in May and June," LeBron reportedly told him after practice. "Anybody can be a star in October." For the Lakers, that mindset is everything. Redick has made it clear that accountability is the foundation of the team's culture this season. No exceptions. Not even for the franchise's most high-profile acquisition. To his credit, Doncic hasn't resisted this. In fact, he seems to be embracing it. During film sessions, he's reportedly one of the most engaged players in the room. He asks to see his defensive rotations. He calls out his own mistakes before coaches can. That level of introspection is new and necessary. Still, the road won't be without bumps. Old habits don't disappear overnight, and the weight of expectations in Los Angeles is unlike anything he faced in Texas. There are already whispers among the media speculating how long this version of Luka will last, whether the discipline is permanent or just part of an early season push. But those close to him believe this change is real. One reason for that belief? The motivation is internal now. It's not about silencing critics or proving doubters wrong. It's about fulfilling potential that Luka himself finally seems to recognize as unfulfilled. For years, people have said he could be the best player in the world. If he stayed in shape, if he played defense, if he led with consistency. Luka is tired of the ifs. And that might be the most dangerous thing for the rest of the league. A version of Luka Doncic that's not just talented but locked in. This chapter of his Lakers story isn't about numbers, though those will come. It's about a psychological pivot. It's about breaking patterns, taking ownership, and becoming the kind of player who doesn't just chase greatness, but demands it from himself. One of the most defining factors of Luka Doncic's arrival in Los Angeles isn't just the team, the city, or even the media spotlight. It's the presence of LeBron James. For a player like Luka, already seen as a generational talent, the opportunity to play alongside one of the greatest minds in basketball history is both a blessing and a challenge. From the moment Doncic walked into the Lakers facility, LeBron made it clear. This was going to be a partnership, but one that required humility, effort, and respect for the game. "I'm here to help," LeBron told him during their first extended conversation, "but you've got to meet me halfway." That message set the tone. To some, it might seem strange. After all, Doncic was already a superstar. He had international accolades, multiple All-NBA selections, and a resume most 25-year-olds could only dream of. But LeBron operates on a different level, one shaped by discipline, longevity, and an obsessive attention to detail. And that's what he expects from everyone around him. The relationship between the two hasn't been one of control, but mentorship. LeBron, never shy about sharing knowledge, has taken Luka under his wing in subtle yet meaningful ways. From training tips and recovery routines to reading defensive schemes, Doncic has had front-row access to the inner workings of a four-time champion. And he's paying attention. LeBron doesn't talk just to hear himself, Luka said in a recent team media session. When he speaks, it's with purpose. He's lived everything. I'd be stupid not to listen. More than the advice itself, it's the habits that Luka is absorbing. Watching LeBron stretch for 45 minutes before practice, hydrate between every drill, and break down game film late into the night has shifted Doncic's own approach. He's beginning to understand that greatness isn't built during the game, it's forged in the hours no one sees. LeBron's influence extends beyond the court. He's encouraged Luka to take on more responsibility as a voice in the locker room, not just in the huddle or on the stat sheet. That means checking in on younger teammates, being the first to show up to team activities, and staying connected even off the hardwood. These are the small leadership moments that build team chemistry, and LeBron knows how important they are in shaping culture. But mentorship also comes with confrontation. During a preseason workout, sources say LeBron called out Luka for a half-speed closeout on a defensive drill. "You can't pick your spots," he said bluntly. "Leaders don't choose when to care." It wasn't malicious, it was a message. And Luka didn't push back. Instead, he nodded, picked up the intensity, and finished practice with something to prove. Moments like that are becoming more common, and more welcomed. Doncic is embracing the structure, not resisting it. Where some stars might bristle under another alpha's presence, Luka appears to be thriving. Perhaps it's because LeBron doesn't seek to overshadow him, but to elevate him. The goal is clear: pass the torch, but only when the fire is ready. For Redick and the Lakers staff, this dynamic is priceless. "There's no better classroom than one led by LeBron," the coach said during media availability. And Luka's sitting in the front row. Even on the court, their chemistry is growing. LeBron's ability to play off the ball more in his twilight years allows Luka to orchestrate the offense, something that's freeing up Doncic's creativity while preserving LeBron's energy. It's a pairing that, when synchronized, could redefine the Lakers' identity and give them a two-headed engine few teams can match. As the regular season approaches, the blueprint is forming. Luka brings the flair, the improvisation, the generational instincts. LeBron offers the structure, the wisdom, the championship DNA. Together they're building something not just powerful, but purposeful. For Luka Doncic, this isn't just a season. It's a clinic. A once-in-a-career masterclass under the guidance of the greatest teacher the modern game has ever seen. And if he absorbs all of it, the league might not be ready for what comes next. As Luka Doncic continues evolving in Los Angeles, another figure emerges as a pivotal architect of his transformation, J.J. Redick. The newly appointed head coach, though inexperienced on paper, brings a fresh voice, sharp perspective, and a deep understanding of modern basketball strategy, one that could be the key to unlocking the next level of Doncic's game. Redick, a former sharpshooter turned media analyst and now coach, is no stranger to elite locker rooms or elite talent. But coaching Doncic in the high-pressure environment of the Lakers is a trial by fire. Fortunately, Redick isn't approaching this as a challenge to control Luka, but rather as an opportunity to channel him, to create an ecosystem where his natural instincts can flourish without becoming the team's only option. "I don't want to limit Luka," Redick told reporters during training camp. "I want to build a system that flows through him, not around him. But it has to come with structure, efficiency, accountability." That philosophy is already visible in the Lakers' evolving offensive scheme. Unlike the heliocentric offense Doncic ran in Dallas, where the ball stopped and started with him, Redick is designing a motion-heavy, spacing-oriented attack. It's a system that relies on off-ball movement, quick decision-making, and versatile lineups that can stretch defenses. In short, less Luka ISO, more Luka as a conductor. The adjustment hasn't been easy. Doncic has had to shed some of his long-held tendencies, over-dribbling, slowing the pace, seeking isolation mismatches, and trust a more dynamic flow. But under Redick's guidance, he's beginning to see the benefits. Open shooters, cleaner lanes, and most importantly, less physical toll on his body over the course of a season. Redick's system also comes with expectations on the defensive end. You can't lead a team if you're only playing half the game, the coach reportedly told Doncic during a closed film session. And for Luka, that's meant learning how to work within a switch-heavy help and recover scheme. Redick isn't demanding perfection, but he is demanding effort. To support this, the coaching staff has implemented a system of internal tracking metrics: deflections, closeouts, boxouts, and second-effort plays. Players see their scores weekly. Accountability isn't just verbal, it's data-backed. And Luka, competitive by nature, has started treating those scores with the same intensity as his stat lines. Behind closed doors, Redick and Doncic have developed a mutual respect. They meet regularly, not just to talk tactics but to break down film, explore scenarios, and debate ideas. Redick sees Luka not just as a player to coach, but as a basketball mind worth collaborating with. That trust is creating something rare: a superstar who's being invited into the coaching process without being coddled. JJ's honest with me, Luka said after a recent practice. If I mess up, he tells me. If I get it right, he tells me. It's real. I need that. There's also a cultural shift underway. Redick, with support from LeBron and the front office, is building a team environment that values transparency, professionalism, and consistent work habits. From film sessions that include the entire roster, rookies and vets alike, to drills where stars and role players rotate without hierarchy, the Lakers are fostering a true collective identity. And Luka is buying in. No longer the solo act, he's learning to thrive as part of something more collaborative. When asked about the difference between Dallas and LA, he didn't hesitate. Here, everything has purpose. It's not just about what I do, it's about what we're building. Redick, for his part, remains measured. He knows the scrutiny that comes with coaching the Lakers, especially with a personality as strong as Doncic leading the charge. But he also knows what this could become. With the right blend of structure and freedom, accountability and trust, the pairing of Redick and Doncic could usher in a new model of leadership. Coach and star as partners in evolution. The season hasn't started yet, but the identity is already forming. This isn't just Luka's team. It's JJ Redick's blueprint, and together they're building something that could outlast even the LeBron era. Every franchise that acquires a superstar understands one truth: the roster must evolve around them. For the Los Angeles Lakers, this has become a guiding principle in the post-trade world, a full structural recalibration centered around Luka Doncic. Rob Pelinka, the team's general manager, has made it no secret that this season is about maximizing fit, not just assembling talent. The Lakers aren't just building a team, they're crafting a supporting cast that amplifies Luka's strengths, masks his vulnerabilities, and creates a modern basketball ecosystem tailored to his unique style of play. One of the first moves on Pelinka's list? Reinforcing the front court. With Anthony Davis transitioning into a more versatile defensive role, the Lakers have begun exploring the free agent and trade market for a pure center, a physical presence who can protect the rim, rebound, and set hard screens to free up Doncic. The idea is to give Luka vertical spacing, a lob threat similar to what he once had in Dallas with players like Dwight Powell, but with more defensive upside. We need a big man who doesn't need touches, but impacts every possession, Pelinka told reporters. Someone who complements Luka, not competes with him. Another major area of focus: perimeter shooting. Luka's greatest gift, his ability to manipulate defenders off the dribble, only becomes lethal when surrounded by consistent three-point threats. That's why the Lakers front office has placed a premium on acquiring catch-and-shoot wings. Players like Max Strus, Seth Curry, or even lesser-known snipers from the G League are being evaluated not just for shot-making, but for their ability to maintain spacing and defensive discipline. You space the floor for Luka and he'll do the rest, said assistant GM Jesse Buss. But that spacing has to be respected. Defenders can't cheat. Behind the scenes, the analytics department has been working overtime. They're building advanced player profiles to model how different lineup combinations affect Luka's efficiency in pick-and-roll scenarios, transition play, and half-court setups. What they're finding is promising. Luka thrives with mobile bigs, corner shooters, and guards who can play off ball and still defend 94 feet. But building around a star isn't just about stats, it's about personalities too. Pelinka and head coach Redick have emphasized locker room synergy in all personnel decisions. Doncic is a passionate, fiery competitor. The team around him needs to reflect that intensity without tipping into volatility. That means identifying players who are not only skilled, but mentally aligned with the grind of an 82-game season and the glare of the Los Angeles spotlight. To help foster this new identity, the Lakers have invested heavily in team building off the court. From group dinners hosted by LeBron and Luka, to psychological performance coaching and shared film sessions, there's a clear effort to create more than a roster, a brotherhood. Luka, once perceived as a bit detached in Dallas, is now front and center in these moments. "He's talking more, laughing more, leading more," said Austin Reeves. "It's not forced. It's just who he's becoming." This leadership shift is critical. Because while the front office can stack the deck in Luka's favor, it's his presence that will set the tone. Players take cues from their star, and when that star is locked in, working on defense, encouraging teammates, taking accountability, the entire locker room follows. It's also why Pelinka is being patient. He's not rushing to assemble a super team. He's building a Luka team, one with long-term potential, cohesion, and adaptability. That means passing on flashy names in favor of system-fit players who can grow with Doncic over multiple seasons. The goal isn't just to compete, it's to sustain. If the Lakers can build the right core around Luka, balanced, committed, and efficient, they won't just have a playoff contender. They'll have a title window. A real one. One that lasts beyond LeBron's eventual exit and positions Doncic as the franchise's unquestioned leader for years to come. So far, all signs point to the blueprint being followed with discipline and care. And Luka? He seems ready to be the centerpiece, not just of the offense but of the future. Much of the narrative surrounding Luka Doncic in recent years has orbited around his sheer talent. His vision, touch, and uncanny ability to control a game. But quietly, a different conversation has followed him behind the scenes. His conditioning. In Dallas, whispers about his fitness and durability grew louder with each season. Now in Los Angeles, under the glare of a much brighter spotlight, that narrative is being rewritten. One of the earliest priorities for Doncic upon joining the Lakers wasn't playbook memorization or chemistry development. It was his body. And not just in the superficial sense of slimming down. We're talking real transformation. Nutrition, strength training, recovery science, and endurance optimization. It began with a decision. Shortly after arriving in Los Angeles, Luka had a sit-down with Lakers Director of Performance, Roger Sancho. What followed was a comprehensive body composition analysis, movement screening, and a full workup of Luka's injury history, workload trends, and biomechanics. The results were revealing, not alarming but eye-opening. He wasn't out of shape, said Sancho. But he wasn't optimized either. He was carrying weight in places that didn't serve him. His movement mechanics had small inefficiencies that were adding up over time. We needed to clean the slate. Doncic agreed. More than that, he initiated the change. With the help of Lakers performance staff and his personal team from Europe, Luka began a program that focused on 3 pillars: lean muscle development, cardiovascular conditioning, and injury prevention. His workouts shifted from just weightlifting and court drills to include agility ladders, resistance sprints, water resistance therapy, yoga-based flexibility sessions, and even neuromuscular stimulation therapy to aid recovery. But perhaps the biggest shift was diet. Gone were the late-night fast foods and carb-heavy traditional meals he favored back home. In their place, macro-controlled anti-inflammatory meals designed by the Lakers' in-house chef. High-quality proteins, timed carbohydrates, omega-3 heavy fats, and hydration protocols that included regular electrolyte tracking. For the first time in his NBA career, Luka wasn't just preparing for the next game. He was preparing for the next 5 years. And the results are showing. Sources close to the team say Doncic has dropped nearly 15 pounds of non-functional mass while maintaining his core strength. More importantly, he's improved his anaerobic threshold, meaning he can play longer stretches at high intensity without fatigue. On the court, that's translated into quicker lateral movement, more lift on his jumper, and increased explosiveness in short bursts. "He's moving different," said assistant coach Phil Handy. "It's not about being skinny. It's about being efficient. He's tighter, faster, and more alert. You can see it in his first step, in how he recovers on defense. He's just more present physically." The commitment has extended into recovery. Luka is now one of the last players to leave the facility, often staying for contrast baths, soft tissue work, or to use the team's cryotherapy chamber. He tracks his sleep with biometric sensors, limits screen time before bed, and even practices guided meditation, something he initially laughed at, but now credits with improving his focus. "It's not glamorous," Luka admitted in an interview. "It's hard. But I want to be great, not just talented but great. And that means taking care of my body like it's my career." Because it is. Perhaps most telling of his transformation? His defensive effort. While he may never be a lockdown defender, Luka is now showing consistent commitment on that end of the floor. He's navigating screens with more urgency, rotating on time, and staying engaged throughout possessions. It's not always perfect, but it's present. And in a league that watches stars under a microscope, that kind of visible change doesn't go unnoticed. "He's not just doing this for optics," said Redick. "He's bought in. And that's the kind of buy-in that spreads. If your best player sacrifices, no one else has an excuse." The physical transformation is still ongoing. Luka hasn't reached his final form, but for the first time he's heading in that direction with purpose, with science, and with consistency. This isn't about proving critics wrong. It's about proving to himself, and to his teammates, that he's ready to carry the responsibility that comes with wearing purple and gold. The name on the jersey means legacy. And Luka Doncic is finally building the physical foundation to match the weight of that legacy. In Los Angeles, greatness is never far from reach, and for Luka Doncic the greatest influence may be sitting just a few lockers down: LeBron James. When the Lakers acquired Doncic, much of the media speculated about how two dominant ball handlers would coexist. But what many didn't see coming was LeBron's role as a mentor, not a competitor. At this point in his career, James has shifted from being the centerpiece to the architect behind the scenes. And in Luka he saw something familiar: youth mixed with brilliance but also a need for guidance. "Luka reminds me a little of myself at that age," LeBron said in an early press conference. "You come in with all the skills, all the hype, and the expectations. But to really own it, to become more than a stat sheet guy, you need to evolve. I want to help him get there." That mentorship began quietly, away from cameras, in small conversations during practice, film sessions, and workouts. LeBron didn't force advice onto Luka. He waited for the right moments. Moments where experience mattered more than talent. One such moment came during a preseason scrimmage. Luka had just turned the ball over twice in crunch-time possessions, visibly frustrated. LeBron pulled him aside, not to scold but to walk him through it. They replayed the sequence together on an iPad post-practice. Instead of telling Luka what he did wrong, LeBron asked, "What were you seeing here?" And then followed up with, "Here's what I'd do differently, not because it's better but because it opens more options." That style, collaborative coaching, resonated deeply with Doncic. "He doesn't talk down to me," Luka said. "He treats me like a peer but also teaches like a big brother. It's not just about plays, it's about mentality." And mentality is exactly where LeBron's influence is strongest. He's showing Luka how to lead without speaking, how to control the emotional flow of a team, how to respond to media without revealing too much, and how to carry himself through adversity. These are lessons Doncic never fully absorbed in Dallas, where he often wore his emotions too visibly and let frustration dictate his energy. LeBron's mentorship has also extended off the court. The two have been seen dining together, attending charity events, and even discussing business ventures. Luka is getting a first-hand education in the full scope of what it means to be a global superstar. Not just an athlete but a brand, a leader, and a voice. That dynamic is also redefining the team hierarchy. While LeBron remains the face of the franchise, There's an intentional transfer of gravity taking place. During team introductions, LeBron now steps back, letting Doncic be announced last. In huddles, he often defers to Luka to initiate the dialogue. This isn't accidental. It's calculated mentorship, teaching Doncic how to own the room without demanding it. Leadership isn't loud, LeBron said in a team meeting. It's consistent. It's how you show up every day. Luka's starting to get that. Teammates are noticing. Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, and Rui Hachimura have all praised Luka's increased vocal presence. During practices, he's the one pushing tempo, challenging calls, directing switches. He's not mimicking LeBron. He's absorbing his habits and translating them into his own style. Even Redick has noted the shift. You can see Luka stepping into that role. And LeBron is the perfect example for him to learn from. He's watching a master class in leadership every day. The media too is beginning to adjust its lens. Where once there were questions of maturity and temperament, now there's curiosity about how far this partnership can go. LeBron mentoring Luka feels symbolic. A passing of the torch not just for the Lakers but for the league. And while LeBron may have a limited number of years left, his impact on Doncic could extend far beyond his final season. Because what Luka is learning now isn't written in stat sheets or captured in highlight reels. It's the kind of knowledge that only time and greatness can teach. If Doncic succeeds in carrying the Lakers into a new era, it won't just be because of his talent. It will be because the king showed him how to wear the crown. There's something different about the air in Los Angeles this season. The noise is still there, the flashing cameras, the late-night debates, the sky-high expectations, but it feels more focused, more deliberate. For the first time since the post-bubble championship haze wore off, the Lakers seem to have a clear direction. At the center of that vision, Luka Doncic. This isn't just a new chapter in his career. It's the beginning of an entirely new era for the Lakers. Everything has been building toward this moment. From his shock trade out of Dallas, to the physical transformation, to the mental reset, to the mentorship under LeBron James, Luka has been methodically evolving. Not just as a player but as a franchise cornerstone. Now the season opener is around the corner, and there's a noticeable shift in how people talk about him. There's no more "can he adjust?" or "will he lead?" Now it's "how far can he take them?" The Lakers coaching staff, led by Redick, has designed a system around fluidity and trust. One where Luka has the freedom to create but the responsibility to lead. No longer is the offensive engine dependent on one-on-one brilliance. Instead, Luka is operating in a structured chaos, where movement, timing, and chemistry matter as much as talent. In scrimmages, he's already shown flashes of brilliance. Backdoor passes through traffic, step-back threes off curl screens, and a newfound energy on the defensive end. But more than that, his teammates are responding. They're moving with purpose, cutting harder, rotating faster, communicating more. That's what leadership does. It elevates everyone. You can feel the culture shift, said Redick. It's not just about Luka being great. It's about the team buying into a higher standard. He's the example. But the true test, as always, will come under pressure. The Western Conference is stacked. Defending champs, rising young teams, veteran squads all gunning for the same goal. The Lakers will be scrutinized every step of the way. Luka knows this. He knows that with superstardom comes expectation. And with expectation comes scrutiny. Still, there's a quiet confidence in him now. Not arrogance, conviction. For the first time, Luka seems unbothered by outside voices. He's not playing for headlines or MVP chatter. He's playing to build something. Something lasting. His interviews reflect this. Asked about personal goals for the season, he didn't mention stats or awards. I want to win. I want to build a team that wins the right way, he said. That's it. That mindset has resonated across the organization. From Rob Pelinka's front office to the rookie development staff, everyone is pulling in the same direction. The veterans have embraced Luka not just as a teammate, but as the next face of the franchise. And the younger players look up to him the way he once looked up to LeBron. In practice, Luka stays late. He shoots with the trainers. He helps break down tape with second-unit guards. He's taking ownership, not just of the game plan but of the culture. The transformation is complete. This isn't the Luka of Slovenia, dazzling crowds with EuroLeague bravado. This isn't the Luka of Dallas, frustrated by playoff exits and inconsistent support. This is Luka Doncic of the Los Angeles Lakers. A leader, a builder, a force. And if things continue to develop as they have, the Lakers may be on the cusp of a new dynasty, not built in haste but in intention. Not driven solely by star power but by structure, accountability, and belief. Luka isn't just chasing greatness anymore. He's becoming it. And as the lights shine down on Crypto.com Arena for opening night, with the crowd on its feet and LeBron nodding from the sidelines, one thing becomes unmistakably clear. The future of the Lakers has arrived.